back to another video. So in this video we're going to do fractions, decimals, and percents. So what we are going to do is we are going to take one choice and turn it into this and this. For example, let's take this. We'll have a number that is a decimal, and we're going to have to turn it into a fraction and a percent. So that's what we're going to do in today's video. So let's get started with that. So first of all, we need to know what each of these three words mean. So the fractions, we know fraction is a quantity which is not a whole number. It has two parts. So it is not a whole number. It is in fraction form, which has two parts. And it's two parts, which means one is the numerator and the other one is the denominator. So the numerator is the one on the top of the fraction bar, and the denominator is the one under the fraction bar. Now let's move on to decimals. So for decimals, it uses decimal points followed by digits that are smaller than 1. So decimal is a number that uses decimal points. So decimal point is this decimal point, and it's followed by digits that are smaller than 1. So what I mean by digits smaller than 1 is that their value is less than 1. So for example, these numbers, which are followed by the decimal 925, are actually less than 1. Their value is less than 1. So if we can write 0, 9, 2, 5, because we're only talking about these, it is less than 1. They are less than the 1. Okay, but if we do 3.925 is actually greater than 1 because we have this whole number 3 here. So the 3 comes first, so 3 is greater than 1, and then we have these numbers here. So let's move on to percent. So for percents, we have it is a number or ratio expressed as a fraction of 100. So percents are fractions. They're fractions of 100. So what I mean by fractions of 100, for example, let's take 50. So the fraction is going to be 50 over 100. That is the fraction for percents. Often denoted using the percent sign. So this is the percent sign that we use to show that this is a percent number. So this is a percent, so 50. So to show that this is a percent, we're going to do the percent sign. So it means 50%. And the fraction for 50% is 50 over 100. So that's why percent are called the fraction over 100. So now let's move on to the questions where we are going to do to make one of the options turn into the other two options that we have. So here we have different 6 of the questions that here we have. So let's start with the first one. So here we have the question. It is in fraction. We can see that this is the numerator and this is the denominator. So we're going to turn this into decimal and percent. So let's do first decimal. So to turn this into a decimal, all we're just going to do is how many zeros we have. We have 2 zeros, so it is 2 zeros. So 2 places, and we're going to put a decimal here. So it's basically going to be 0.49. So there are 2 zeros, so 2 digits and a decimal. So that is how you turn it into a decimal, 49 over 100. And if you turn it into a decimal, you will get 0.49. Another way to turn it into a decimal is just simply dividing 49 by 100, and you will get the same answer. To turn it into a percent, so remember what we said before, percent is a fraction of 100. So this, we have 100 here, so basically the percent is going to be 49%. Because as long as it has the 100 in the denominator, the number above is actually going to be the percent. So 49 over 100 is basically 49%. Now let's move on to the second question. It's a percent one. It says 84%. And we're going to turn it into a decimal and a fraction. So first let's do the decimal or the fraction. So let's first do fraction because it is easier. So basically, as I said here, it's just the fraction of 100. So the 100 goes in the denominator. And then we just put 84 here. We remove this percent sign and we have it here. The fraction form for 84% is 84 over 100. Or if you simplify, you can simplify it further. So 84 over 100 is going to be 42, 50, and then you can do it furthermore. So it is going to be 21 over 25. This can be our answer for 84 over 100, the fraction form for 84%. Now, just turn it into a decimal. We see this is the simplest form. This is the simplest form, but this is the unsimple form. So, basically, this is the simple for this. 84 over 100 is the correct fraction for 84%. So, to turn this into a decimal, we're just going to look how many zeros, 2 zeros. So, 2 decimal places here in 84, so it is going to be 0.84 or 84. So now we have the third question here. It is a fraction question. It says 1 over 4, so we're going to turn it into a decimal, and then we're going to turn it into a percent. So to turn it into a decimal, we're just going to divide the numerator by the denominator. That's the easiest way you can turn a fraction into a decimal. So let's do that first. So 1 goes inside the box 4 here. Put a decimal here. And 10. 4 times 2 is 8. If you subtract, you'll get 2. And you can put a 0 because we have the decimal here. And then 5 because 5 times 4 is 20. And so our answer is 0.25. So the decimal form for 1 over 4 is 0.25. Now to turn it into a percent, it is pretty easy as we did here. So it's 0.84, and the percent form is 84%. It's 0.49, the percent form is 49. So it's 0.25, the percent form is 25%. Don't forget to put the percent sign here. Now let's move on to the fourth question. It is 0.36, and it is a decimal one, and we're going to turn it into a fraction and a percent. So to turn it into a fraction, it is pretty easy, as I said before. We're going to put the 100 here to make first do the easiest form, and then we're going to move on to the more simplified form. So 36, that is our, for a fraction of 0.36, it is 36 because we have 2 decimal places here, so 2 zeros and 1, and then we've just put the 36, so it is 36 over 100, and we can furthermore simplify it, so it can be 18 over 50, and then it can be 9 over 25. And yeah, that is going to be our simplified fraction for 0.36. Now let's do the percent. So as we did it here, 36 over 100, and the percent form is going to be very easy. It is going to be simply 36%. So 0.36, the fraction form is 36 over 100, and the percent form is 36%. So now let's move on to the fifth question. It is 4.29. So the fraction form is going to be, there are 2 decimal places, meaning we're going to put 2 zeros and a 1, and then 429. That is going to be our fraction form for 4.29. And to now turn it into a percent, it is simply going to be this, because it has a 0. So remember, the percent is a fraction of 100, so it is going to be 429%. Well, you might be thinking that the percent is not greater than 100, but yes, there is a greater percent, so it can be 429%, 500%. It can be greater than 100%. So let's move on to the sixth and the last question that we have. It is 125%, just like we did. It is greater than 100% here. So we're going to turn it into a fraction and then a decimal. So to turn it into a fraction, it is, as I said before, percent is the fraction of 100. So it goes here, 100 and 125. That is our fraction for 125%. And the decimal form is going to be, so there are 2 zeros. So these 2 are the places here. So 2 zeros. So, and then the decimal comes here. So, for the decimal, we're going to put the decimal here and 1.25. That's the decimal form for 125. And you can also find the decimal by just dividing the numerator by the denominator. And if you do that, you will get 1.25. So that is our answer for the 6th question. So things you need to keep in mind is that you can find the decimal form of a fraction by just dividing the numerator by the denominator, and you can find the percent with a fraction by turning the denominator. So the denominator can, for example, it is 4 and 3. So to turn this into a percent, you just need to divide 100 by 4, and whatever number you'll get, you multiply 4 by that, and you do the same here, and it will make it easier for you to get the percent. So to do that, you will get 75% here if you do it correctly. So to find the percent, you just need to make sure you have 100 in the denominator, and whatever you multiply this number by, you multiply this number by that too, and you will get the percent form. Now to do the decimal, we are going to do from decimal to percent. It is also very easy. It is just going to be, for example, with the first question, 0.49, the decimal form, and the percent is simply 49%. For here, we have 4.29, and the percent is 429. So if there is a decimal, but it is actually going to be 429%. So that's it for today's video. If you guys like the video, please give this video a thumbs up, and if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell button so you get the notification whenever our new video comes out.